And could you describe, because there's a lot going on, right? There's the underlying surgery,
Yes.
there's the chemotherapy, and then it's the radiation that, as you put it, took you down. Your levels of pain throughout this, and even with the painkillers that you were on, was there breakthrough pain that was ongoing? And you got to the point where you couldn't take any more. What was that like to feel that through, to get to that point? And what helps you get through to that point? Because your doctor said he didn't think you would do it, but you did.
Yeah. I think what helped me was I didn't know how bad it was going to get. I didn't have any research. I just kept on doing each step, and I could take it, and I'm like, this is terrible. This is painful. Oh my God, this, like, when is this going to end? But then when it accumulates over months, not just, a couple days, I get to the point where, like, all right, they're still doing this. I cannot wait to pass out at night because I don't want to be awake. And waking up in the morning is the same cycle of pain and nausea and vomiting and not being able to eat. That each day was like, I'm getting through my days, but I don't know, like, how many more of these days I can do. But the crazy thing is, now knowing what I've been through, I would go through it all over again to be where I'm at now. So,
Sure.
That moment where I didn't want to live, got to get through that moment because life is way better after that moment when you start seeing things in color and seeing things clearly. I think in my book, I said that I had the house, the car, the vacation home, the child, but I was as lonely as I've ever been in this house. Like, I didn't have anything. It was like my daughter and ex-wife would be together and I would be by myself in this house. And I'm going, what kind of life do I have? This was not a life. It's a hard process. But in all this process, while I was in sober living, I reconnected with my high school first. And she and I dated for many years and got married. And so she was my first and my last, where I'm now remarried. And I'm as happy as I've ever been. My daughter is 14 years old. She's about to turn 15 next week. And I've got to see her get to high school. I was never able to have children after because of all the chemo and radiation. So I have a stepson that I was never able to have. That's 15 years old. And even though I do still have ongoing things that are byproducts of the surgeries that are causing challenges, I am as good as I've ever been at being in my 50s, and which is crazy to say. How does that happen after all this? And so I have a connection with my children and my wife, and life is really good. And I don't know how I could have got here without going through what I did, but I somehow kept a shine on all of this. And that's the key, I think, is kind of keeping a light and keeping a shine and just keeping that energy that is positive, because it's not all positive. I mean, I share things that it's still tough, but what I would say is that we are stronger than we believe we are. We can handle more than we think we can. Life, everyone has challenges out there. Your challenges are no less significant than someone else's. I share my story because it happened to be a big one. And if it can somehow help someone else get through whatever challenge they have, you need to not lose that light. I personally was in a period of my life where my future was dark. I couldn't see anything going forward. I didn't see a future. And so I get that. My life now, I see colors. I see a future. I see these things. And what's really helped me is being able to give something and give a bit back to people, because I get rewarded. My reward is talking to you today. And if anyone else reads this, like, that's my reward in life. This is not a paid for thing that I'm doing. This is because I think I get so many comments from people around the country that they say, I can relate. And no one else talked about that. And you know what? There's a lot of stories like this out there. And if I can just be one that can help someone get through their day and then pass it on to someone else, you'd be amazed at what that gift of giving does for yourself. So I grow every day because of the feedback that I get. And that's what I would just want to finish with.